Hi, Dua'a.
Hello.
Nice to have you here with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
Okay, so what happened? Yeah, it was, I think you got interested when you saw Alabaster and Cannoli's interview.
Yes.
And you reached out, and I got interested in your story also. So I said, why don't you come over and share it with us?
Yes.
Now, you are into pets, as I
Yes,
understand.
I am.
Okay. So I want you to go through back where you got interested into pets and what took you to where you are today.
Okay.
So I don't know where that
No, that's
started.
going to be a really long story.
It's okay. Are we going to go to high school and then move on, or is it after
Um,
high school that happened? Take us through it.
okay, so growing up, I've always had pets. I'm really thankful that my mom put up with all my crazies and she did allow me. So, we've had all of these fish and birds and chicks and turtles and all of that. And I actually grew really, really interested in cats and dogs in particular when I traveled to the UK for my BA degree.
Yeah, okay.
So when I went there, when I saw how integrated they are into society, it was just really beautiful to see. They were members of the family, they were part of the community. You can take them with you everywhere. And then the more I traveled across Europe and in the US and all of that, you get to see how much they play such a big role with all different aspects of societies, seniors with children. So I grow
So
more
the
and more.
relationship between
Yes.
human beings and
Animals
pets.
and how
Yeah.
it can be, the potential that it has. And it
What
kind
did you
of,
study at college, though?
banking and finance. Yeah.
Okay.
Not relevant, not relevant.
Okay. Okay.
But you do get to see them everywhere.
Right.
So I did after I came back, because I just loved seeing them. I started helping out with a lot of different rescues here in Bahrain, here and there. Whenever they wanted some volunteers, they needed financial support, whatever it is. And when
But you came back, did you work?
yes,
You went into banking
Yes,
and
I
finance.
still work.
Oh,
I do
you are
work,
still.
yes.
Okay, okay.
So I still do work, but I do this on the side.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So after working with a couple of rescues and all of that, I have noticed that in Bahrain we do have a bit of I'd say, informational gap. Not all of the information is there. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, a lot of old information in which new information and new research has come out. However, people still, are basing a lot of the information based on what they previously knew
In regards
to pets, which leads to pets being, rehomed or abandoned or whatever, which was one of the main reasons why I decided to start Pets Academy, because I was like, okay, you know what? I am going to provide that information, and I wanted to provide it in Arabic.
Okay.
Because what I've noticed is that a lot of the information is available in English, but if you look in Arabic, there is a lot of high-level information, but when it comes to the bits and pieces of it, it's not all available in Arabic.
Right.
And like, for example, one of the misconceptions that are very, very common is cats can affect pregnancy. So as soon as
Yes, you're right.
as soon as someone finds out that they're pregnant, let's rehome the cat. And I'm like, no, you don't need to rehome your cat. If your cat has taken all of its vaccinations, if your cat is an indoor cat, if it's not going outside, it is extremely, 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 extremely rare for your cat to catch any kind of parasite. And if you're really, really concerned, just don't clean the litter box.
No, but that's not what I used to hear. What I used to hear was that girls cannot get pregnant
Yes.
if they have cats. And
It apparently affects fertility.
Fertility, yeah.
And it affects pregnancies and leads to miscarriage.
Oh, okay.
So, which both of them are not true. If you do take proper care, which most people do, and vaccinate your pet, if your pet is purely indoors, and talking about cats, not dogs, it is very unlikely for your cat to actually get any kind of parasite. But, that was one of the many misconceptions that were available here in Bahrain, which led to a lot of cats being, rehomed or abandoned out on the street. And it was one of the main drivers why I wanted to start Pets Academy, because I was like, no, let's provide some information. And if a lot of the time people need to ask some questions, and they want an answer on the spot. Okay, drop me a DM. Let me know what's going on, and we can see, can we work this out before you reach to the breaking point of you saying, you know what, I need the animal out of my house.
Okay. So Pets Academy.
Yeah.
What is it? Tell us about
Pets
it.
Academy has two folds. I provide information and training. I cover cats and dogs. So the way that, what I've noticed here in Bahrain, another thing that I've noticed is that dog training in Bahrain is really expensive.
Yes.
It would cost you, up to 450 BD per dog. For people that have multiple dogs, that's a lot of money, and a lot of people would, take the dog and are not quite aware of how much training your dog really needs, or that training is actually really important for your pet. So once they get the dog, they don't know where to go from there. So what I decided to do is I would teach people how they would train their dogs. I would go home, I would train the dog, I'd show them how to train their dogs, and they would continue the training.
So you go to their homes?
Yes.
You don't have
a facility?
Facility or a physical place
No,
where
no.
they bring them to you?
No,
Okay.
because when you bring your pet or when they bring their dogs to a new place, they would be very distracted by all of the new smells, all of the new places, and it just takes a lot longer for them to settle. But if you go to their natural environment and it's their home, they're 80% more relaxed.
True.
So, they would listen a lot more, they would focus a lot more rather than the fear of being in a new place. And, the conventional approach of training, what happens is that they would take the dog to a facility, they would train the dog, and then they would bring it back. And they would tell them, here you go, there's a trained dog. Mm-hmm. But what happens is that the dog ends up listening to the trainer, not the owner. And
True.
Yep. And then, a lot of people would go like, but I trained my dog and my dog isn't listening to me, because the dog would always, because, training builds a bond. Mm-hmm. It builds a relationship. It builds a mean of communication. It's not just teaching them sit down, stay. So when they actually put in the time and the effort to train their dogs, they would notice a lot of things in their dogs that they may have not noticed when it just goes to a facility, gets trained, and comes back home.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
So people reach out to you to train. Now, I noticed something else on your site, on the Instagram account that you have. It said, I teach you how your cats behave.
Yes.
Okay, tell us something about that.
Well, it's not really teaching them how to cat, because let's say, for example, you've mentioned that you've had an issue with, for example, your pet scratching the sofas, for example.
Right.
So what I would do is I would tell people, did you, for example, put up scratchers? Did you put up the right kind of scratchers? Are the scratchers being placed in the correct places? Are there enough of them around the house? There are so many different things that would lead your cat to scratching your sofa. So, it's not the same as dog training. I'm not going to teach them how to, cats can be trained to come and sit and stay and all of that. They're just a lot more.
Really?
Yes, they can. My cat plays fetch. So, but they just need a lot more time. And they're very moody,
Yeah.
They would listen to you once and they'd ignore you 5 times, and you just have to be okay with it. But, when it comes to cat behaviorists, that was the other fold that I've noticed, is that there is no facility here in Bahrain that helps people with their cat problems. You can take your dog and train it somewhere, but people don't have somewhere to turn to get the answers when it comes to cats.
Okay.
And I've had someone reach out to me and telling me that my cat keeps on relieving herself in my flower pot. What can I do? And I would tell her, for example, did you check your litter box? Do you have the right type of litter? Are you using the right quantity? Where is it placed? How is it being cleaned? All of these things affect why your cat does not want to go to the litter box and would rather go somewhere else. So that's what I meant by cat behaviorist. Now I can't tell them that I have the answers to everything, but a lot of these common issues are quite common, and it's a lot of people are facing them as well. And if you give them the information, it's less likely for that cat to be rehomed or to be abandoned, because the issue that they were causing is going to be solved.
Okay, so how did you go by collecting all of this information? Are you like studying or you're just doing it by yourself?
It came from a very unhealthy obsession. I
Okay.
just keep on, I kept on following all of these trainers, all of these channels, reading a lot about it. I think it reached a point where it was no normal. It was no longer natural, but
Okay.
it's just something that I'm really, really interested in.
Okay.
To understand how other creatures behave and how our behavior is affecting them, or what we do affects how they behave around us. So I just kept on reading and reading and reading and reading. And I used to apply a lot of these things before I started Pets Academy with my friends, with my neighbors, with my siblings, wherever it is.
And what do you do? Have you made like articles, publications in Arabic, anything like that?
As of now, I'm just providing the content on Instagram, the
Okay.
posts. And what I've noticed is that people like content that is short and sweet.
Yeah.
So whenever the post has a lot of information, it would get, for example, maybe less attention because people just want, oh, so this is what I need to do. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone is really busy
Yeah,
nowadays.
true.
So I haven't reached the stage of articles and all of that. I do videos, I do demonstration content, but people do prefer when you'd go on site and help them with their pets instead.
Right. How do you manage to do that with your work?
After hours. So all of my sessions would usually be after work. And a lot of them work themselves, so no one's really available in the morning, which is convenient for me, I
For you?
guess.
Yeah. Okay. How does it work with your family? How do they look at it?
Well, my husband is really supportive to all of that. My parents, my siblings, when I first started, my brother used to help me out a lot, but then he got busy as well with his work. So my family are very supportive because they've always seen how much I really do love being around animals. After work, people want to rest. I don't mind sitting there playing with a dog all afternoon. It's just, this is how I de-stress.
Right. Okay. I've noticed, we have a few places where they take care of the abandoned animals, I mean, especially dogs. And now I started seeing a lot of cats also, and they put their pictures, and they sort of like awareness
Yes.
for people not to abuse animals. Do you work with them? Do you have anything to do with them?
I help and I support whenever I
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
But like, for example, my dog I actually adopted her while volunteering with one of these rescues.
Okay.
They had a TNR program, a trap, neuter, and release, in order to control the population of dogs.
Right.
And I was volunteering there, and I went and I saw her, and I called my husband and I told him, I just found our next dog.
Oh, next dog.
No,
So
yeah.
you have another one.
No,
you had another one.
I used to foster.
Oh, okay.
So we actually did
What
bring
do you
her.
mean foster?
Foster is when you offer a temporary home.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Now they're hurt and they need to heal. They, for example, are going to be rehomed outside of Bahrain. They need a temporary place to stay. We used to foster.
Okay.
And she was a foster in the beginning, but it was a foster fail. I was not able to give her up. I just fell madly in love with her. And as
Okay.
soon as I saw her,
What is she?
she is actually a Bahraini local dog.
Okay.
So, yeah, one of the local rescues here in Bahrain. And what I like about her is she's such a smart girl. So I use a lot of her content to show people the potential that we have with local dogs here. People they think that they are savage dogs, that they are not trainable. And, and I was like, no, they are really, really smart.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud to have her with me at home, and she does all sorts of things. She like opens doors, she picks up keys from the floor, she brings me my socks and my slippers.
Okay.
And that's how smart she is, and that's how smart local dogs are here in Bahrain. So I was like, okay, you know what? This can work as well. If people can see the potential of what local dogs can do with a bit of love and a bit of effort and training, it's not going to be any different than taking a pure breed dog. If you get a German Shepherd or if you get a local breed, the personality plays a role, first of
Right,
all,
yeah.
in terms of how recipient they are when it comes to training, and then how much time you're putting into it. So I was like, okay, add that to the mix. That's a benefit, I guess, when it comes to Pets Academy.
Tell me, how much time do you need to take care of dogs? I mean, if you bring it, love dogs. And I keep saying I want to have a dog. But the thing is, I know there's a lot of work behind it also. So tell me, how much work does it?
It depends. So if you're going to get a puppy, puppies are really, really, really high maintenance creatures.
Okay.
So I always tell people don't get puppies, especially if people work with our hectic lives and all of that. I personally love older dogs just because their attention span is much, much, much stronger. Puppies can get distracted by the air, it's like, oh, what is that? And they just look up, and you lost them.
Like babies.
Like children, exactly. So puppies would be a lot of work, but in general, all dogs need regular training sessions. All dogs need regular walking sessions. All pets need good quality food, good quality treats, and all of that. So it would all depend on the age of the dog. It would depend on what is the dog an indoor dog? Is the dog an outside dog? Because, indoor dogs also need to be housebroken. People don't want them to ruin their furniture. So that's an extra layer to take into consideration as well. Even though I always say, when dogs are indoors, they do tend to be well behaved compared to outdoor dogs, just because, corrections and feedback of giving back to the dog is a lot harder when you're not with them all the time.
But puppies are so cute.
They are cute, but cuteness comes with a price.
I know. That's what makes you like, oh, I want one. Yeah.
Until you get one. And then you go like, what did I do?
Exactly.
I haven't slept for the past 3 days.
Exactly. Okay, tell me, what advices do you have for us, for Bahrainis, for people who want to have pets and don't know what to do?
The first thing is, I'm a strong advocate when it comes to adoption.
Yeah.
Look at the local dogs. The really good thing when it comes to adoption, especially the ones that are with rescues, is that the rescue agencies know the personality of the dogs. So when you go there and you say, I need a mellow dog, I need a chilled dog, or I'm an active person, I need a dog that can keep up with me when I go running outside, they would be able to give you the right dog. Okay. So, that's really, really, but for some people that may be interested in a particular breed, not all breeds are available there. So I understand why some people would say, no, I'd much rather buy. And that's completely fine. But if you are planning on purchasing a dog, research the breed and don't select it just on looks. And the same goes to cats. Now, a lot of people would go like, I want a Bengal cat. And Bengal cats are beautiful. They look like...
What are Bengal cats?
Bengal cats look like little leopards. They're gorgeous. Okay. Okay. Amazing, amazing looking cats. But Bengal cats, because they're bred with wild cats, are extremely high energy. You need to walk your Bengal cat. That's how high energy they are.
Walk it?
Yes. You put that cat on a harness and you take it walking outside. They need to climb trees. And it's the same thing with Maine Coons. People go like, I would love to have a Maine Coon because they just look like beautiful, big cats. So you sometimes see people on Instagram carrying a cat that's like this big.
Yes.
So, these Maine Coons are also, partly wild, which means they require a lot of work. Or people go and say they want Huskies. Huskies are gorgeous, but Huskies are working dogs. So, when you go and you take a Husky, you need to walk that dog 3 times a day.
And what about the weather? Because, Huskies are made for colder weather and snow and all that. So what happens when they bring them here?
A lot of the people that have Huskies here are Bahraini bred. So I wouldn't say that they're 100% acclimated to the weather, but I'd say maybe they're 70% acclimated. Right. They still need a cold place. They cannot be left outside. They can overheat, but the energy level is still the same because Huskies are bred with Huskies in order for you to have a Husky at the end of the day. So the energy level stays there. But, now people really need to research. I've once went to a guy and he was like, I'm going to get me a Belgian Malinois. And Belgian Malinois are the dogs that they use at the police force. Okay. Because they are very, very, very high drive dogs. They have, they can go on for hours with no sleep and no work and constant work, and they're going to be completely fine. Because they are bred to help the police.
True.
They need to have a certain attention. They need to have a certain drive. They need to have, and when he told me that, I was like, no, you can't. Belgian Malinois are not pets. So the recommendation that I would tell people is if you do plan on getting a dog, make sure that you read about the breed. You know what that breed needs and that you're able to offer it. If you're an active person and you go running for 6 hours a day, sure, take the Malinois with you. It's going to be completely fine.
That's interesting because so people could also come to you and ask before getting a pet.
I did have a couple of situations where, yes, they did, because I keep on telling people now, please, read about the breed, read about the breed. I sometimes feel like a broken record, just repeating that. But and it did work, or sometimes I would go and train a dog that they would have at home and they'd say, okay, I want to get another dog with it. So, the conversation would open from there. Okay, what kind of dog are you looking at? And do you have something in mind and all of that? So, alhamdulillah, some people do come and ask. And a lot of the time I do tell them, I'm sorry, but I don't think that your lifestyle fits for a dog. And they don't get a dog.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they listen to you.
They do.
Okay.
And it's the same with cats. If they'd say, now, for example, I have a cat, but my cat is not very social, then okay, if your cat is not very social, then that cat is very comfortable staying in a single cat home.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't need to have another cat with it.
Yeah.
So, sometimes people do come and reach out.
Okay, so somebody like me, like I walk and run every morning.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a dog? And it would be perfect if I go out and I take the dog with me.
Yep.
So what kind of a dog would be okay to get so that they can run
With you.
with me?
Okay. There are a couple of things that we need to know about you.
Uh-oh.
So, do you work a full-time job?
I don't.
Okay. And how much time would you be willing to put training the dog? Would you be willing to train him 3 times a day?
No.
Okay, then don't get
Don't
a
get a
dog.
dog.
Don't get a dog. Because
Okay.
even smaller
Yeah.
dogs, people think like if you get the small breed dogs, Shih Tzus and
Yes,
Pomeranians,
yeah.
and they're like, no, but I don't need to walk them. It's like, no, you need to walk them. They need
yeah.
to walk.
Oh, I
as
see
well.
them all the time. Yeah,
Yes.
out there. Even the small ones.
Yeah, they all
yeah.
need exercise and they
Yeah.
all need training, regardless of the size.
Yeah.
In most cases, the smaller ones needs training more than the
the
more than the bigger
big
ones.
Yeah. Once I saw one of the neighbors. She was walking her dogs, and they were really cute. I asked what they were, and she said they're Boston Terriers.
Mm-hmm.
And she said very low maintenance, and they love to walk. And what do you think?
No, some dogs are low maintenance, but even low maintenance doesn't mean no training.
No training. Yeah. Okay.
So low maintenance just means that instead of needing to walk, for example, twice a day, once a day is enough. Low maintenance could mean and that they don't need to be brushed as much, but they still need to be brushed. For example, some dogs, they would, get a lot of dirt in the creases of their eyes, and that needs to be cleaned regularly, while other dogs don't. So that would be considered a low maintenance for someone else. So the definition of what low maintenance is could vary, I guess, from one person to the next.
It's just that I'm looking for the easiest way out.
The easiest way
To
out,
get a dog, but not spend so much.
get a senior dog. Senior dogs are low maintenance.
Okay.
And they just want to sit there and chillax all day. Most of them were previously in a home, so they would know how to behave in a home.
Okay.
And now you don't need to do much with them. Even when it comes to training, they'd be completely happy with the basic sit down and stay, and that's it. You don't need to go overboard. So I would say get a senior dog.
No. Okay, great. Thanks. What's next for Dua'a? What are you planning? Are you planning anything, or you're happy as it is? Tell us.
There's always room for growth.
Yeah.
I really do hope that I would be able to open a facility. I really do hope to be able to, offer more training, maybe have more trainers join on board. But at this point, I know that it might be a bit, you're biting more than you can chew with a full-time job.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I really do want to grow the business. I want to expand.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much
and
for having me.
telling us all about that story about your love of pets and how it came to be. And all the best for the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.